This is an intro. Who needs an intro? I don't need an intro. This is just a vape show. It's just a vape show. Vape show. This is an intro. Who needs an intro? I don't need an intro. This is just a vape show. It's just a vape show. Vape show.
YouTube, what is up? I'm your homeboy Josh, back at you with a look at the Target Mini from Vaporesso, which is small enough. But before we get into this new offering from Vaporesso, I do want to take the time to remind you that we all have a part to play in the fight against Big Pharma, Big Tobacco, the FDA, and the deeming regulations that are looming over our heads. That means if you're on social media, remember to paint the best possible image of the vape community that you can. If you're a shop or a shop owner, remember it's your duty to remind your customers that they have a part to play in this fight. They need to get in it if they want to keep vaping. And remember to support all of CASAA's calls to action, including that to support HR 2058 and the Cole Bishop Amendment. We all have a part to play. In addition, the company that sent this on over to me, free for the purpose of this review, HeavenGifts.com, is currently celebrating 8 years in the vape industry. That means from right now till August 18th, they're celebrating at HeavenGifts.com with 25% off almost their entire inventory. You can use code AHG25 to take advantage of that promotion. And they're also having a bunch of flash deals on their Facebook page with a lot of items for only $8. They also have some additional promotions for those in retail as well. And you can also use code ANOMBOY, which will give you 15% off if for some reason you want to get 15% off over 25% off and support the channel with a 7% commission.
Unless I was donating money to Hungry Puppies, I would always get 25% off.
I'm not a hungry puppy. And right quick before we get into this review, let's hit randomize on this Nautilus X giveaway, which is also sponsored by HeavenGifts.com. The winner is Zach Fewox. Zach Fewox, I'm going to be in touch with you to gather your shipping information and contact details. I'm going to pass that on over to HeavenGifts.com, who will facilitate shipping for you. Let's get on into this review. Small, comma, enough. Small enough. I don't think it can ever be small enough, but really, I mean, what the fuck is that supposed to mean anyway? What's with the fucking comma? That doesn't make any sense. Is it small enough? It's tiny enough for me? Or it's small and that's enough? No more smallness. Small. Enough. But does anyone else think that he's overthinking this just a little bit? I mean, can you ever really be small enough? Come on. I don't get it. It irks me. Why is that comma there? That doesn't make any sense. Whatever. I don't get the comma, and it's small enough that they had to say that twice. Oh, it opens up. Yeah, Target Mini Starter Kit, right? And on the inside, it has to say it again with the fucking comma. These things irk me. The Target Mini is a very well put together package in a white box. Along the sides you have the name of the product, you have some specs and some information on the back, and some details about what makes the device so unique. Open it up, you have some more marketing information, and you've got little compartments for everything. Even the charging cable comes in its own separate white box within the white box. Everything in the Target Mini, the device, the tank, the spare coils and whatnot, the extra drip tip, they're all in their own little compartments when you open it on up. It's a very nice, well put together package if you ask me. Grammatical missteps aside, it's actually a pretty decent vape. So I never got a look at the full-size Target. I was kind of glad I didn't because I wasn't a hugest fan of the looks of the thing. It kind of looked like a phaser gun. It looked like something that you play laser tag with. I really wasn't into it, honestly. It looked a little bit silly. It still has sort of a phaser gun kind of look to it, but it's a little bit more toned down. So it's a little bit more attractive in my eyes than the full-sized version. I actually kind of dig this little mod. It's different though. Different kind of vape. That ceramic coil. Target Mini Starter Kit comes with the Guardian sub-ohm tank. Sort of a chunky sub-ohm kit if you ask me. The metal is nice and thick. Thicker than what I'm used to seeing on a lot of sub-ohm tanks. It actually seems like a really nice quality sub-ohm tank as far as metal quality goes anyway. It's got a good weighty feel to it. All the airflow is up at the top, so it's a completely leak-free design. There's no way this is going to leak out at you unless you're turning it upside down, I guess, for a really extended period of time. But there's no leaking. You see, I can mess with this coil And there's still juice in there and it's not leaking. Now it's messy when you go to change the coil, but that's to be expected. Plenty of room in there to fill. What's a little strange about it is how you fill it and how you open up the top of the tank. It's got an interesting design. Open up the tank, you have to unscrew this drip tip, which is weird. I don't feel like I should have to unscrew the drip tip to fill the fucking thing, but I do. Not the biggest fan of that. The metal drip tip, I don't really mind it very much because it's pretty comfortable, it's curved edges, and it doesn't get hot on me. So I have no problems with it being a metal drip tip here. It works pretty well. Basically, you have to unscrew the drip tip, which is reverse threaded, which takes a little bit of getting used to if you ask me. And then you open up the top fill the same way that you're adjusting the airflow. So it's kind of tight adjusting it at first, and then it's really tight with a lot of resistance when you want to unscrew the top. So it's kind of strange filling this thing because you got to unscrew the drip tip and then you've got to unscrew the top of the tank, which provides a lot of resistance when you're doing it. The coil is a little bit strange in the way that it fits in there because it just pops out like that. It doesn't screw in or anything like that, just slides in. That's it. It doesn't screw into anything. Coil, you just drop it on in there and it just stands there static with nothing holding it in place other than the walls of the inner chamber of the tank. It's kind of interesting. I don't think I've seen that sort of execution before, but I kind of like it because it makes it really simple to change out the coil. Now the coil itself is a ceramic coil, which is something that I have not used in the past. This is my first experience with a ceramic coil. I know, I'm late to the party, as always. Homeboy Josh is always late to the party. That's kind of like the theme here. Way different than anything I'm used to. It's a wet vape, but it's not wet like an RDA or an RTA is wet. It's wet like there's juice coating my mouth. And not necessarily a bad way, just different. Looking at this ceramic coil, it looks like cotton, but it's not, from my understanding. It's ceramic material. It's a 0.5 ohm coil rated to go from 20 to 40 watts. The way it heats the juice is different than how, say, a Kanthal wire with organic cotton heats the juice. It gives it a different treatment. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. What I noticed, one thing that I was vaping on in here quite a bit was this key lime pie kind of vape. What I noticed was that with everything else, I wasn't getting any crust. I didn't get any crust on the vape. But when I put it in here, I could get the crust. It brings out other flavors in the juice. Anything that changes the flavor of a juice for me in a positive way, I'm okay with. So I could see myself messing around with something with a ceramic coil every now and again. I'm glad I've gotten the opportunity to try it. It's different than what I was expecting, but it's not bad. It's just different. And it's not like tons and tons of clouds. The vapor production is straight, but it's nothing, insane. It's not supposed to be, I don't think. Because this has that potential to be a straight to lung hit, or when you turn the airflow control, you can restrict it down to 2 single airflow hole options. One is, there's like a tiny little pinhole of an opening for one. Yeah, it's like a mouth to lung hit, but like it's pretty tight. And then there's an even smaller airflow option. That brought up like this new flavor in this juice that I've never experienced before. That's so weird. It brings out a lemon note. I don't even remember what juice is in here, but there's like a lemon note now when I have it on the tightest airflow option. That's kind of cool, the way that works, honestly. That ceramic coil is something pretty different. But again, my mouth just feels like it's coated in something now. These mini mods, man, I feel like when I vape them, I should put my pinky up. Oh, don't you look so dainty with your pinky up while you're vaping? So cute. Vapor production is very, very decent. That's about halfway open on the largest airflow setting. That's all the way open now. I'm vaping at about 38 watts. Only goes to 40. The mod itself is nicely put together. It's got a good amount of weight to it for such a tiny mod. I feel like a lot of that weight is probably coming from the battery. The metal on it does feel nice and chunky, but I feel like most of the weight is probably coming from the battery. The outside of the mod also has a good bit of carbon fiber around it. It's good quality carbon fiber from what I can see. It doesn't feel like it's going to unravel or it doesn't feel fake. It feels like real carbon fiber. It's good stuff. When you turn the device on, it says Vaporesso. The menu system is pretty simple. You use the button at the bottom to go ahead and change the modes. You can change from different temperature control modes to wattage and voltage. And then you use the two side buttons to adjust your wattage, adjust your temperature, that kind of thing. Me, I mostly stick to wattage. I'm a wattage vapor. The buttons are in this really interesting shape, and they're actually, as far as a mini mod goes, they're pretty accessible. They're pretty comfortable using those buttons to change the modes, change the settings, change the levels. Using those buttons. It actually works out pretty well. You have options for nickel, titanium, stainless steel, and you also have TCR modes as well as wattage and voltage modes. I like it. I like the carbon fiber here. I like the target over here. I like the sort of chrome design. The button layout is a little bit like it came off an alien warship or something, with these odd buttons, and the fire button being like a trigger. It's comfortable, the fire button. And it's got some good ergonomics too. The way that it's curved in certain ways, the way that your thumb can go here, the way that you can hold it like this too. You know, it's comfortable. It is. It's a comfortable device to hold in the hand. It's got good weight, especially for being such a small device. It is rather weighty. It does feel like it's very well put together. It's got some good venting at the bottom. It's got that USB charging at the bottom. I kind of wish that it was on the side so I didn't have to lay it down when I was charging it, but it's not the end of the world. It works. It's tiny and it's pocketable and it has a unique look to it, but it's not completely out there like the original was, if you ask me. So what this is basically the size of an 18350 battery. So the battery life on it is strong enough to get you through maybe a half day, something like that. I use it as a mod when I'm just making a quick run to the store, for when I'm going just to walk the dog around the block, maybe something to have in the car, when I just need to grab something because I didn't remember to fill my tank in the morning, something like that. It's a spare mod that I've been using here and there over the course of the past week or so, a week or two. And I like it for what it is. And if you want to see devices like the Target Mini stay in the market, remember, do your part, support HR 2058 and the Cole Bishop Amendment.
That's the Target Mini by Vaporesso, which is small enough. And till next time, I'm your homeboy Josh. Vape on, Vapers.